Good morning, students. Did you all have breakfast in the morning? So tell me, how many of you like to have crispy doshas or tasty pohas, hot puris, and what about fluffy idlis? So have you ever wondered that once you have all this food, it is digested by the body, and the glucose that is formed as an end product, how do you think it is transported throughout our body? Or let's take the case of breathing. So we inhale oxygen rich air and then during exhalation carbon dioxide is released. So even during this process, how does carbon dioxide or oxygen get transported? So to get answer to this question, first we need to know what is a circulatory system. So in today's class we will be learning about circulatory system. So this will be a small basic session where we will be just introducing the concept of circulatory system. Clear? So before that, we need to learn about blood because blood is the major connective tissue that is helping in the transportation of this glucose and gases. So if we take blood, it is divided into different components. So the blood itself will be containing several components present. Blood will be having RBC, WBC, platelets, and apart from that, almost 55% of this blood is made up of plasma. But in today's class, we are only concerned about RBC, that is red blood cells. So this red blood cells will be containing a component, a pigment, which is called as hemoglobin. And RBC is red in color, and this red coloration is given by this hemoglobin pigment. So imagine if the blood didn't have RBC cells, or suppose if the RBC cells didn't have hemoglobin present, what would have happened? Our blood would be colorless. It won't be having that red coloration. So this red coloration to the blood is given by hemoglobin. Apart from that, it is this hemoglobin pigment that is helping in the transportation of gases. That is carbon dioxide or oxygen will be combining with this hemoglobin pigment that is present within RBC, and that's how it is transported throughout our body. So now we know that blood is helping in the transportation process and that there is a component called as hemoglobin, which is a pigment present in RBC. So now let's come to a common myth that exists. So this is a misconception that exists among people that blood is blue in color when it is inside the body, but it turns out to be red when it is coming outside. That means the blood is having the ability to change its color. Or maybe you would have seen images which is showing how the blood is moving in the body, where you see as shown in this picture that one side is represented in blue coloration whereas the other is shown in red coloration. So does that mean that our blood is blue when it is inside our body? Definitely not, because in the previous slide we have already learned that the coloration to the blood is provided by hemoglobin pigment, which is giving blood red coloration. So when it is inside our body or even if it is outside our body, blood is red in color. Its intensity might vary, but still it is red in color. However, this blue coloration and red coloration, it is just to indicate that the blue coloration is showing deoxygenated blood or the blood that is carrying carbon dioxide, and the red coloration is only to represent that the blood is carrying oxygen or it is an oxygenated blood. Okay, so you should never have this misconception that the color of the blood might be blue or red. So it is only red. So now we have learned that blood is carrying the oxygen or carbon dioxide throughout our body, and we already know which is the component that is present within blood that is helping in this process. Now we need to know how this blood is moving throughout our body. So to know that, first we need to know about our heart. So heart, we can't live without our heart, right? So if we are going to see the size of our heart, if you're going to keep your fist closed, so this will be the size of a heart. So if you're having your fist closed, that is the average size of your heart. And this heart is a muscular organ which will be contracting and relaxing rhythmically. So this heart is divided into two different regions. So as you can see in this image, this heart is having two different regions that are separated by a septum. So it is having a right side, it is having a left side. So whenever you are drawing a diagram of a heart or you are seeing an image of a heart, you would have probably seen that this blue colored region, as you can see in this image, will be represented as the right side of the heart. and the reddish colored region will be the left side of the heart. So imagine a person is standing in front of you and you're viewing the heart of that person. So that's how you will be representing the heart in pictures or even when you're drawing it in the form of a diagram. So this blue colored region, it is a region that contains deoxygenated blood, whereas the region that is towards the left side, it will be containing the oxygenated blood. So this separation will be helping in preventing the mixing up of the blood. So it will be preventing the deoxygenated and the oxygenated blood from mixing up together. Now this heart also has arteries as well as veins present. So it is represented as in the image that is arteries will be exiting from the heart. That is, it is moving from the heart. So it is responsible for carrying oxygenated blood. So it is represented in red color, right? So that means arteries will be carrying oxygenated blood and it will be carrying the blood away from the heart. So for this you can consider this as a clue that arteries, it starts with the A. So A comes first in the alphabet series and A refers to away. So it is carrying the blood away from the heart. Now we take veins. So veins, it is represented in blue color. That means veins are carrying deoxygenated blood. And these veins are carrying the blood from all parts of the body to the heart. However, there are some exceptional cases as well, which we will be discussing in the upcoming slides. Okay. So now if we take the structure of heart, this entire structure of heart is divided into 4 different chambers. So see, there are 2 chambers that are present towards the right side and 2 chambers on the left side. So towards the top region of the right side, we have the right atrium present, and just below it there is right ventricle present. And towards the left side, there is left atrium present, and then there is left ventricle present. So here another important fact or a component that you have to remember when you are describing the structure of a heart is that there are valves present. So if you take the right atrium and ventricle, between them there is a valve present. So this valve will be called as the tricuspid valve. Similarly, there is another valve that is present between the left atrium and left ventricle, which will be called as bicuspid valve, and it is also called as mitral valve. So we will see the image in detail when in the upcoming slides. I am just mentioning it since we are discussing about the structure of heart. So do you know what is the function of this valve? So the main function of this valve is that it will be acting as a one-way, almost like a one-way road. So it will be only allowing blood to pass in one direction. So if there is a valve that is present between the right atrium and right ventricle, it will be only allowing blood to pass from the atrium to the ventricle. So it will be preventing backflow. So once the blood passes from the atrium to ventricle, this valve is going to close so that it will be preventing any backflow from happening. So this is about the structure of heart. Now we see atria and ventricles present, right? So this atria will be present towards the top region of the heart and ventricles are always towards the bottom. So this to remember this concept, let's just take it as a clue that A comes first in the alphabetical series. So that means A will be coming on top. So atria on the top, ventricles on the bottom. And another important fact that you need to remember is that this ventricles will be usually having thick wall present when compared to that of atria. Now, why do you think these ventricles need to have a thicker wall? It's because the blood that is present within the heart will be pumped to different parts of the body which will be occurring from these ventricles, right? So that means the ventricles will have to go through a lot of pressure. So don't you think their walls need to be thicker when compared to atria? So that's the reason why ventricles are having a comparatively thicker wall. So now we know the structure of heart, and now let's see what is the pathway that is followed by the blood. So how this blood is going to travel through the heart and how the entire purification process is going to take place. So now let's see how the blood is going to travel through the heart. So initially there will be deoxygenated blood, right, which is present in different parts of our body. This deoxygenated blood will be entering into the heart through superior and inferior vena cava, which is present on the upper region of the heart, and the inferior vena cava that is present towards the lower region of the heart. So they will be carrying all the deoxygenated blood from the upper and lower part of the body respectively, and this will be coming into the right atrium. Now the blood that has reached the right atrium will be now entering through the tricuspid valve. So the valve will be opening, which will be allowing this deoxygenated blood to enter through the right atrium. It will be entering into the right ventricle. So now the deoxygenated blood has reached right ventricle. From the right ventricle, once it contracts, that is, this right ventricle will be contracting, which will be also causing the tricuspid valve to close. So this will be preventing any backflow of the blood from happening, which might occur from the right ventricle back into the right atrium. So once the contraction occurs, the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle will be now passing through the pulmonary valve, and through the pulmonary artery, now it is going to enter into lungs. So here there is one interesting fact that you might have noticed, that here pulmonary artery is carrying deoxygenated blood. So initially it was told that arteries will carry oxygenated blood. So here it is an exceptional case that pulmonary artery will be carrying deoxygenated blood. And here you would have also seen the word pulmonary. So what is pulmonary associated with? Yes, so pulmonary is associated with lungs. So now the deoxygenated blood will be coming into the lungs. So as you already know the structure of lungs, there will be alveoli present, which will be acting as a site where diffusion of the gases will be taking place, right? So after this diffusion occurs, now there will be oxygen rich blood. So now this oxygen rich blood will be carried back into the heart. So this blood will be carried with the help of pulmonary veins. So see here, this is also an exceptional case. The veins are carrying oxygenated blood, which is also an exceptional case, and pulmonary refers to lungs. So they are coming from the lungs, right? So that's why it is called as pulmonary veins. So from the pulmonary veins, the oxygenated blood will be entering into the left atrium. Now it is the left side of the heart. Once it reaches the left atrium, the valve, that is mitral valve, will be open. Through that, the blood, that is oxygenated blood, will be entering into the left ventricle. So now the blood has flown into the left ventricle. The next step is contraction of the left ventricle. So during the contraction, this valve is going to close in order to prevent any backflow from happening. And from the left ventricle, now the blood will be moving through the aortic valve. Through the aortic valve, once it opens up, they will be entering into aorta, and it is this aorta that will be helping in further transporting this oxygenated blood to remaining parts of the body. So this is the entire journey of the blood that is occurring in the heart, and how it is moving into the lungs, how the purification is occurring, and how the oxygenated blood will be further passed to all parts of the body. So here on the left as well as right hand side, you can see the entire flow chart that is showing in short how the movement is occurring. So see here, the deoxygenated blood that is passing through the vena cava. It can be inferior as well as superior vena cava, and finally it will be moving through the pulmonary arteries into the lungs. After purification from the lungs, they will be entering back into the heart through pulmonary vein, and finally through aorta they will be then passed on to the remaining part of the body. So now this explains the entire journey of the blood that is occurring through our circulatory system. So this video was a very brief explanation of how the circulation is happening within the body, and here I have given a small conclusion of whatever we have learned in today's class. And another important point that you have to remember when it comes to our circulatory system is that we are having a double circulation. So what do you mean by double circulation? If you see the circulatory system in total and how the blood is flowing through the circulatory system, you have seen that there is a systemic circulation and a pulmonary circulation. That is, there is heart involved and lungs is also involved. So see, the deoxygenated blood was entering into the heart, and from the heart it was pumped into lungs, and the oxygenated blood that was coming from the lungs was coming back to the heart, and from the heart it was again being pumped to different parts of the body. That means the blood is entering into the heart twice, right? So that's why the entire process is called as double circulation. And here I have also given a small flow chart and also a diagram which explains how the circulation is occurring and what the structure of heart looks like. So I hope the concept is clear for everyone. Thank you.